So, the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, not known for political interventions, his remit is monetary policy, not diplomacy, but his comments today, delivered with studied neutrality, carry the weight of economic reality. And speaking after the UK's limited trade breakthrough with the United States, I don't think we should over-egg that one. I was told I shouldn't use the expression to over-egg the omelette. You can't over-egg an omelette. That's true. Let's over-egg a cake. A Victoria sponge, and it's time to rebuild. His simple and pointed observation is that it's time to rebuild Britain's trade relationship with the European Union, and not just out of sentiment, but because it is, in his words, beneficial. The bank's position is informed by unambiguous data. And since Brexit, the UK exports to the EU in sectors such as food and drink have fallen by over a third. Red tape customs checks and divergent regulatory regimes have created new frictions that no amount of boosterism can wish away. This week's trade agreement with the United States, while symbolically important, leaves most UK exports still facing a 10% duty, and it's a limited win in a world of lost leverage. Meanwhile, the EU remains our largest trading partner, a fact that is both pragmatic and unavoidable. And if you want to do business, if you want to buy something from the EU, it's a nightmare. Andrew Bailey, like many in Whitehall, now speaks in the language of quiet course correction. The government under Sir Keir Starmer has opened talks with Brussels to reset trade and security relations. What we actually need is frankly to restore the customs union, and a summit is planned for later this month. The terms are not yet public, but the trajectory is clear. Veterinary alignment on agri-foods, reduced barriers on fisheries, and perhaps a return to a rules-based economic entente. So why now? Partly because the United States has moved first. Thursday's deal, limited though it is, opens the door for Britain to negotiate pragmatically with Brussels without appearing to surrender sovereignty, and the ideological haze of Brexit has thinned, what remains is economic arithmetic. It's also about inflation and growth, and the Bank of England has just cut interest rates by a quarter point from 4.5 to 4.25, citing continued weakness in the UK economy, and it forecasts a further 0.3% decline over the next 3 years. This is not the picture of a roaring post-Brexit renaissance, and while Bailey studiously avoids commenting on the politics of Brexit, he is explicit about the costs. A fall-off in goods trade, long-term competitiveness compromised, and declining productivity. Yet this is not simply a lament, it's an invitation. Bailey's words are carefully chosen. It's important we do everything we can to ensure that whatever decisions are taken on the Brexit front do not damage the long-term trade position. And he sees the recent deal with India, projected to add 4.8 billion to the UK economy by 2040, as a model of what can be achieved. And trade deals, in his view, are not relics of globalisation. They're the necessary instruments of modern resilience. Crucially, a veterinary agreement with the EU, long advocated by British farmers, would eliminate most checks on food and animal exports. And this isn't just a technical matter, it's a political bridge, one that doesn't require rejoining the single market, but acknowledges its gravitational pull. And Bailey concluded with a broader hope that Britain's incremental deals might contribute to rebuilding a fractured global trading system. That is optimistic, perhaps, but not naive. And after years of nationalist retreat and tariff wars, there is space again for economic realism. And realism says that sovereignty is not diminished by cooperation, it's enhanced by cooperation. If Britain wants to lead on trade, it must not simply pivot to the Indo-Pacific or wrap itself in the flag. It must also reconcile with the continent across the Channel. No man is an island, and we should not be a clod left behind. In the end, the Bank of England is not calling for political revolution, it's calling for recalibration, and Bailey's message is quiet but firm. Rebuild, 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 not out of nostalgia for what was lost, you can't turn back the clock, but out of necessity for what must come next. Trade is not a theory, it's an artery, and Britain's heart beats loudest when the arteries are open.